Brennan and Comey may think they're in charge here of the narrative, but one of these two is lying. If Brennan says Comey was pushing the dossier and Comey says Brennan was pushing the dossier, one of them is not telling the truth, folks. Now, for as much as it pains me to say this, I think Comey may be the one who's more accurate here. Listen, Comey is a total fraud, one of the worst swamp creatures in the history of Washington, D.C. It's clear as day he continued investigating the president because he personally didn't like him. There's no other good reason for him to do it, and knowing that everything in the dossier was false. But again, we're talking about who started this thing. What was the EC, the electronic communication that starts the whole spying operation formally on Trump? I believe it was Brennan pushing the dossier to Jim Comey's FBI in August of 2016, despite the fact that Brennan says, oh, I didn't even see it till December. That is not possible. Why? Two reasons, folks. Again, I told you the first reason. The allegations of Russian collusion only exist in the dossier. They don't exist anywhere else. So if Brennan's telling the FBI, you need to investigate Trump because he's colluding with the Russians, he couldn't have got it anywhere other than Fusion GPS in the dossier. In August of 2016, Brennan briefs the Gang of Eight and Harry Reid up on Capitol Hill. Harry Reid then writes a letter to the FBI telling them they must open up a case on Donald Trump. And in the letter, he says, because of this, this, and this, and the information that's in the this, this, and this is the dossier information.
There it is. There it is.
There's no way Brennan didn't tell Harry Reid that. But he said he didn't see it till December. It's not possible. So the only question here, ladies and gentlemen, is Brennan dealing directly with Fusion GPS, Steele, and Simpson to get the dossier information, or, how else could Brennan have received the information from the dossier? Hang tight for a moment on that one. Stand at ease for a second. Parade rest. You may say, well, how do we know that the FBI wasn't quietly colluding with the CIA to start the case? And how do we know that the FBI is not just lying? In other words, Joe, maybe the FBI was working with Brennan the whole time. Brennan had the dossier information. And the FBI and Comey, this is all like fake, and they're all just, making everything up, and the FBI had it. Let me show you the testimony of FBI lawyer Lisa Page. Folks, this testimony is critical. I can't put this up enough on the show because I don't believe she's lying here. I believe she's telling the truth. This is her being questioned under oath about John Brennan potentially having access to the Steele dossier and giving it to Harry Reid. Listen to her response. I don't think I think she's telling the truth. She's questioning Mark Meadows, Lisa Page, FBI lawyer. And she's wondering why Meadows keeps asking her about Brennan and Harry Reid. She doesn't get it at all. Quote, Lisa Page to Mark Meadows. So I don't understand why you're saying this. Whatever occurs between Brennan and Reid, I don't get it. I don't understand what the relationship to the dossier is. That's what I'm not following. That's Page. Meadows responds back. So the dossier apparently was mentioned. He's talking about by Brennan, who said he hadn't seen it. In fact, we have documents that would suggest that in that briefing, the dossier was mentioned to Harry Reid, and then obviously we're going to have that conversation. Does that surprise you, Miss Page? Lisa Page, it totally surprises me. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe she's lying here. Brennan pulled the wool over their eyes. He's saying and suggesting through Harry Reid and others writing this letter that he's getting this information from other independent Russian sources. He got it from Steele's people. The only question is how. Page's testimony goes on. Again, I don't believe she's lying here. This does not reflect well on Johnny B. Here's testimony part 2 from Lisa Page. Miss Page, Lisa Page responds back, quote, yes, sir, because with all due honesty, if Director Brennan, so we got that information from our source, right? The FBI got this information from our source. She's talking about Steele. If the CIA had another source of that information, I'm neither aware of it nor did the CIA provide it to us. And if they did, because the first time and it cuts off there, Meadows says to her, we do know there are multiple sources. Page says, I know that. I do know that the information ultimately found its way to a lot of different places, certainly in October of 2016. But if the CIA as early as August, this is Paige talking, this is when Brennan's briefing Reid, clearly on the dossier. She says, but if the CIA as early as August, in fact, had those same reports, I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of it, nor do I believe they provided them to us. That would be unusual. Why would Brennan try to hide that he was getting this information from political operatives at Fusion GPS? Because, Joe, he wants to give it to the FBI and make it appear it's legitimate intelligence from the CIA, which we know it wasn't, because Devin Nunes has already told us in the interview I did on my YouTube station with his YouTube channel, he's already told us no official intelligence was used to open this up. It was all political oppo research. Now, for the coup de grace, where am I going with this? You may say, you've discussed this before. Folks, there are a number of people who reach out to me. I verify everything, double and triple. I've been on the phone all weekend doing homework on stuff. But a couple people have reached out, and I've been hesitant to put it out there. But I want to pose it as a question to you, maybe to instigate and light a fire under some other sources who would care to reach out as well. info@bongino.com. Was Brennan dealing directly with Simpson and Steele and Fusion? So, Joe, again, as the audience ombudsman, make sure we're clear on this. We now know that Brennan's clearly lying. He has the dossier information.
Right.
At the latest, August of 2016, despite the fact that he's told the public he didn't see it until December. We know that because he gave it to Harry Reid. That's the information Harry Reid passed on that only exists in the dossier that they got from Brennan. How did he get it? Well, you may say, did Simpson and Steele meet with Brennan? I don't think so. Well, how else could he have gotten it? Well, let me just pose a question. Can I just throw this out there?
Yeah.
If Brennan and his intel partners overseas, we know the UK was passing information to the Obama administration about Trump. It's already been reported by CNN and others. It's not in question, so liberals, you can move on. That's not a question. What the information was is a question that they were passing information in circumvention of U.S. spy laws against American citizens to the Obama administration is not, in fact, a question. So we know Brennan's using foreign partners to circumvent U.S. spying laws on American citizens. Was Brennan spying on Simpson too? I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm just going to put that out there. Is Brennan... That's just a question. Just a question for... You see where I'm going with this, right, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. Now, Brennan's got plausible deniability, right? I didn't see the dossier, the actual paperwork, until December.
Right.
He's not lying. But what did Brennan see beforehand? We know he saw Steele's information and Simpson's information from Fusion. How exactly did he see that? Well, there are options, to be fair. First is they met with him, which I doubt. No one's going to leave that kind of footprint. Second, it was passed to him through Clinton political operatives. Possible, certainly. Third, they were colluding with the FBI who already had it. I doubt it. I don't think Page and Comey are lying about that. And fourth is they used their surveillance powers to just get the information Brennan the way he always gets information. Just ask someone else in a foreign country to get it for you. Folks, remember the takeaway to Spygate always. Don't get lost in the details of this. Our own intelligence agencies were spying on innocent American citizens in conjunction with a political campaign to influence an election. Don't ever forget that takeaway. The only question is how they did it.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud and follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.